So you want to open up a Pokemon card business and or a shop for that matter. That's the reason why you clicked on this video, right? Otherwise, you wouldn't have clicked on this video if you weren't looking for some information of sorts, maybe behind the scenes of how it would possibly look if you were to actually do it yourself. Maybe you're even looking for extra motivation to push you over the ledge to actually do it. Otherwise, you wouldn't be on this video. Maybe you've already clicked off by this point. However, you want to know if you should start a Pokemon business of sorts. In a vacuum, I would say yes. And I think that's the answer that you want me to tell you is yes. Go out and do it. Open a Pokemon card business. Open a Pokemon card shop. Do it. And for the most part, I would absolutely back that up with a lot of confidence, and I would cheer you on. And I do want you to proceed with caution if that's the ultimate decision you end up making. But first, this video was brought to you by my loyal patrons through the channel membership program. Pledge today and receive exclusive perks, benefits, early access to videos, and more. Link in the description. Opening up any kind of business is not easy. I think from all the research you've probably done, you probably already know that. There's so much ins and outs behind the scenes, so many hats that you have to wear. There's just so much, no matter what business it is. But obviously we're talking about Pokemon cards. And I really do think that it doesn't have to be as complicated as maybe it comes across to be. It doesn't have to be as daunting. The business that you start can go at your own speed. Maybe you just want to have a little eBay gig to start. Maybe you want to set up at shows and then eventually get into your own brick and mortar card shop. And I think that is a great process to proceed with. But maybe you've already done the eBay thing. Maybe you're already doing card shows and you're actually ready to get the keys to open up your own business doors. Now, if you are at that point, then I congratulate you, because there's so much background work and information and studying and knowledge, whether that's money, inventory, there's just so much that goes into it. And the toughest decision at the end of the day is whether or not you should do it. Now, Pokemon is a great hobby. However, it is blown up in a great way over the last 4, 5, 6 or so months that it's also become very toxic for people. And I would advise you, if you actually do open up your own business, do not have any toxicity at all. You only push away customers, and that is the absolute last thing you want to do. You want to make sure that you come across inviting, welcoming, have a clean, open space, have a place for people to sit, go through cards, open boxes. Make sure you ask them, hey, how's it going? How are you? How'd you find my shop? People want to have conversations with their LCS owner. That's you. And you want to make sure that you provide them that experience, because going to any card shop, any small business really for that matter, is an experience for people. They could easily go online, Target, Walmart, Amazon, eBay, and buy whatever the hell they want. But no, they chose to go out of their way, use their car, their gas, put miles on that car, sit in traffic, and go to your shop. The least you could do is say, hey, how are you? How's it going? How'd you find my shop? What's new? Maybe you already know them a little bit. Hey, what's new? How's the kids? How's your collecting journeys? Did you pull anything from that box that you bought last time? You need to make sure that you set the precedent, that you actually care about them. And from my personal experience, I've gained so many great friends from having Murph's Card Town that I don't even know where I would be if I didn't have those people as my friends. And it all starts with simple, common manners. A lot of people think it's rocket science, but it's really not, to just simply say, hey, how's it going? How are you? People aren't in a mall where they're just walking to the food court or they're returning something at Macy's and they just look up and be like, oh, wow, a card shop. No. They came out of their way to see you. And I think that is the number one thing that shops in general, even established shops, simply forget, is to be nice to their customers. So if you take anything away from this video, you need to ask yourself, will I be nice to my customers? Can I be nice to my customers? Do I care about my customers, or do I only care about the money that's in their wallet that I want them to give me? Because if it's that last part, then you should not open a card shop at all. And of course, money is very important. You need people to buy things. We cannot stress that out enough. We need people to buy things to help keep the lights on or the computer running or to help make shop purchases, whether that's inventory, cases, shelving, supplies, even these meta glasses that I'm wearing. How about the Square POS system that I have, the price gun? We need their money to help run the shop, of course. Once all the bills are paid for, credit card, the electric bill, the gas bill, the internet bill, once all the bills are paid for, you need to make sure that you focus on your customer's experience. Even when your bills aren't all squared for the month and paid for, you still need to prioritize their experience. If they have a bad experience after trying your shop, they will not return. I guarantee you that. So treating your customers has to be, treating them well, treating them good, has to be your number one priority. And if you are not willing to do that, stick to eBay. Stick to card shows where you may not see them ever again. Where eBay, you don't even have to deal with them. You don't even have to see them. You don't have to say, hey, how's it going? You just sell them the card and you just take their money. If that's the kind of person you want to be, that's totally fine. If you are going to open your own brick and mortar card shop, brick and mortar business in general, doesn't have to be just cards. It could be any kind of business. You need to make sure that you are going to prioritize your customers. This took up a lot of this video, but that is so important. People need to understand that. That is the biggest emphasis that I can make about, hey, should you open a card shop? You have to take care of your customers. They will appreciate you. They will return, and they will never forget the experience that you give them, because when they go somewhere else to try it out, see what it's like there, they're going to not get that same experience, and they're going to be like, oh, wow. That other place treated me so nicely. They asked how I was doing. They made sure that I didn't need anything. They wanted to get to know me. Their prices were fair. Whereas that's not going to be the experience they're going to get at this other place. Hence why they're going to come back to you. Now, Pokemon cards, sports cards, comic books, whatever it may be, video games, action figures, whatever hobby it is, has its volatility to a degree. Sports cards are obviously a lot more volatile than Pokemon cards are. However, sports cards aren't going through this crazy, booming, blossoming experience that Pokemon is going through right now. So I do want you to proceed with caution, because it could be momentary that how popular this Pokemon thing is. I think it's here to stay, but a couple dud sets in the bubble could burst. You need to do your research. You need to get to know your customers before you get them. And I think I think a card show is a great way to do that. Getting out in the community, card shows, trade nights, other card shops are just such great ways to get to know people. And I wish I was able to do that before I opened Murph's Card Town, because I honestly kind of opened it blind. I had no idea who my customers were going to be. I got thrown into the fire because once I turned the lights on and the open sign on, 2 seconds later, I had somebody walk in. So I didn't even have a chance to kind of sit, breathe, think, or stress about it. I mean, I think at the end of the day, that was good for me. But man, it takes a lot of work to build up a customer base. And whether I was in Johnston for 3 years, Johnston, Rhode Island, I still had people like, oh, how long you been here? Oh, your new shop? Wow. And now since I moved, I'm getting those same questions continuously again and again and again, because people just didn't know there was a card shop here. So you had to be mentally prepared for those kind of questions, for those kind of conversations when you open up, because it can get exhausting, mentally exhausting. Yes, I'm open here. Just opened not that long ago. Moved from one location here. I had an eBay store. Yeah, I was doing whatever your story is. You're going to tell it time and time and time and time and time again. So you need to be prepared for that. But through that exhausting repetition of storytelling that you will have to do, that's how you build your customer base. That's how customers get to know you just as much as you're trying to get to know them. They're asking, wow, you're new. I didn't know. What made you start? They're asking these questions so they get to know you. Their local card shop owner, or employees if you have employees. That's kind of one thing I would stress. Try to run the shop as much as you can by yourself. If you have a partner, that's great. But less expenses, the better, especially early on. When I first opened the shop, I didn't want to have a phone number. I didn't want to have to pay for a new phone or have a phone bill. I just didn't want to pay for that expense at the time. I didn't think it was worth it. I focused on answering emails, answering direct messaging, valuing the people that actually already came into the shop, not people calling to be like, oh, how much is this? Do you have that? And then never showing up. That's my philosophy. So you're going to find yourself cutting a couple corners here and there, and that is totally okay. You're going to grow into it. Maybe your sweet spot's $5 to $15 to $20 cards. That's great. You're going to grow. You're going to get bigger and better, but there's so much determination and mental wear and tear that it is going to take. Opening a card shop is not for everybody, and at the end of the day, you have to ask yourself all the questions that I proposed to you in this video. Will I treat my customers good? Will I want to get to know them? Can I take the mental exhausting repetition of storytelling? Do I actually care about the hobby, or do I only want to open a shop for the money? And lastly, there's going to be things that pop up that you weren't expecting or prepared for. That could be questions, that could be instances, experiences, whatever it may be. Every shop's going to be different. Every collector is different. Keep an open mind, have fun, and put your customers first. If you're able to do all that, then yes, open your own Pokemon card shop.